that I was going to try to get better with podcasting and doing my, oh, hey, Chrissy, and staying up to date with that stuff. So here I am. Last year was an insane year. 2021, which I think everybody was super excited for, ended up being so crazy, so busy, on to better things, hopefully. Thank you, Chrissy. I like my eyelashes too. So I put out feelers there. Like, what would you guys be interested in talking about, hearing about in the podcast? And I got some really good questions, and I got some very interesting questions, like how are some of our photographers filled with so much sex appeal? Thank you, Mike, for that one. And yes, Preet is quite amazing. And I figured I would just kind of start off the first podcast of the year talking about the stuff that you guys actually wanted to know about. So the first thing that we'll start with is actually photography related. So Sheridan BJJ wanted to know how we deal with photographing in public, which is actually a really interesting question because I never thought about it very much, but it is kind of a big deal. So when you're photographing in public, obviously you don't have control. Oh, hey, Ashan. You don't have control over who's there in the background, what passerbyers are doing. So yeah, you have to be very, very conscious of taking amazing pictures, but not coming off as the jerk photographer that nobody ever wants to deal with again. So I'm also doing, so my Instagram followers, they can see that I'm doing this Instagram live, and for my YouTube followers and podcast followers, this is just going to show up as a regular podcast. So when I'm giggling, it's because people on the Instagram live are making comments. So make sure to follow us and do your own silly little comments because I am a dork and can't stop from giggling when stuff tickles me. So when you're photographing in public, one of the main things that you have to do is not be shy to ask people to move out of the way. But you have to do it with kindness. So a lot of times, most people are cool and they're not going to try to screw up your images. But every once in a while, you'll have people who just meander about with no seeming idea that somebody paid a lot of money to have beautiful memories and just won't get out of the way. So in those situations, I'll just walk up to the people and say, hey, you know, I'm so sorry. We're only going to be here just a couple of seconds. Would you mind terribly if you just stepped a couple feet to the side? And then I'll be really, really quick. And as long as you are very, very cool with people, you know, you don't walk around like, oh, you're messing up my shot. Or if you say you're only going to be a couple minutes, actually be a couple minutes. And this goes for anything. This goes for professional photographers. This goes for just people. Oh, he said, this goes for people who just enjoy taking pictures. People want to be nice to you. Most people don't want to be jerks. So just explain to them you're going to be a couple minutes and only be a couple minutes. And then don't try to take up, you know, 180 degrees of the horizon. Just focus on the images that you're taking. The public will like it. You know, people will think that you're a cool photographer and hopefully want to deal with you. Your clients, the people that you're actually photographing, they don't want to feel uncomfortable. They don't want to feel like, oh my gosh, we hired this photographer and they're like causing this huge scene. It's not a good look for you. It's not a good look for the couples. So just be cool. Just be super cool. So then the other question I got was actually a friend of mine from jiu-jitsu. So if you've been following us for any time at all, you know that I am hooked. I drank the Kool-Aid. I love jiu-jitsu. So for those of you who don't know or who are like, oh, you do jiu-jitsu? Ha, ha, ha. You know, it's not karate. It is we call it jujitsu. It's technically Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It's what you see in MMA when it goes down to the ground and there's lots of grappling and submissions. I call it jiu-jitsu. When I do nogi, I train at a 10th Planet Nogi school, which has taken traditional Brazilian jiu-jitsu and has done little different changes. So a lot of people who train nogi will just call it jiu-jitsu. So my friend wanted to know, how do you stop the breaking? I love jujitsu, but I have no idea how to stop the breaking. And girl, I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you. My hair is like a crazy person all the time. So I don't know. When I figure it out, I will shout it from the rooftops. One thing that I do like, which is what Chrissy, who's following us on the live feed, has mentioned, is my eyelashes look good. So I don't know if you can see them. These are like eyelash extensions. I use Lashify. I'm very, very fair skinned. So my features disappear if I don't wear any makeup at all. And I wear eyelash extensions, Lashify. You're the bomb. You even stay on when people are grinding your face into the mat. So I can't say enough about them. So somebody wanted to know how our one photographer Preet had so much sex appeal. And it's actually a very funny thing, because I know Preet. I actually know Preet. He's an amazing photographer. People absolutely love him. He's fun to work with. He takes beautiful images. I know him from jujitsu. He's one of he's really good. He's better than me in jujitsu. He's been doing it longer, and he's just also awesome. So Preet, it's funny. I know him kind of like the big little brother I never had. We act like cousins when they're on the mat. Every time I walk by him, he'll try to like kick my leg out. Every time I walk by him, I try to choke him. So it's really funny. We just have like this very cool, friendly relationship. And then Preet throws on a pair of slacks, and I've seen it. Girls respond. So it's very, very funny, like seeing that change of somebody just being like this dear close friend to you that you have like a sibling relationship with, and then he gets dressed up and girls love him. So I don't know, it's the magic that is Preet. You girls can tell me for yourself if you've ever done a wedding where Preet is, if he wasn't stealing your heart by climbing onto the roof to find your veil that flew off, or helping you down the stairs. What is it that you girls like so much about Preet, or gentlemen? I don't want to exclude anyone. And then finally, the last question I got was kind of like a funny question. He's a friend. He also works for the studio, and he's like, "What about roasting brides?" And it was just funny. It's kind of like an ongoing joke. I'm actually very, very fortunate. I have super cool brides. People will always ask me like, "Oh my gosh, what do you do with bridezillas and how do you treat with them?" But I don't have that. I really don't have bridezillas. Everybody's like really sweet and nice. But it's just funny because we'll imagine him doing, typical bride poses where he's holding his bouquet, looking off dearly into the side. So I don't know, Colin, I think you might have to come on here and do the podcast with me, and we can talk about funny trends in wedding photography to roast. And I think that would be a great time. So guys, I'm so happy to be back and checking in with you. This has been 2021 was insane. It kills me, 99. We did 99 weddings. I couldn't make it to 100. I even went back to check to see if we had any small events. So we did 2 years of weddings in about 6 months. And because I'm neurotic, I still insisted on doing all the post-production myself. I maintained, the timelines and checking in with all the clients. And additionally, with schools and everything, my kids are home all the time. I've taken on a much stronger role in, education with my kids. So it's been very, very busy, but I'm happy for 2022, getting back into it. We've gotten some amazing new people on the team. So it's going to be an awesome year. Thanks for stopping in. And if you have anything else that you want to know about, stuff about photography, stuff about jujitsu, stuff about why some other photographers are, super, super fly, just let me know. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.